Hey, how's it going, Dakota?
Good morning.
Good
How are
morning.
you doing? How are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. I'm actually a little bit tired, but I was actually dancing around before our podcast to try to raise my energy because it was kind of like not even coffee was doing it. So I'm doing
You
good.
know what's weird? I feel like we've had this conversation before already today.
Is it like deja vu?
Yeah, it's only because this is take two and we just had this conversation. But so we are on episode 13 already.
13. How does that feel? I
It
think we
feels
do this
good.
every time. It feels good every time.
Yeah, we definitely do. Um, it feels good still.
Still
I
feels good.
haven't burnt out yet after 13 episodes, which is
That's pretty,
reassuring.
yes. Must
And
be
yeah,
something to do with your co-host
yeah, and the producer
and the
also
producer.
keeping it lively around here.
Thank you, OMP. Yes. So today, what do we want to talk about, Dakota?
We're going to talk about a very Valentine's Day themed topic. We're going to talk about the concept
Yes.
of love, but not just with, significant others
No.
or random hookups or whatever it is you might have.
Yeah,
We're
like
going to talk.
yeah, not just in your romantic life, but in. Sorry, the dog is right here.
Speaking of love, I love Val's dogs.
They're so good. I love them. And you know what? I was reading a book. I wasn't reading it. I was listening to it because reading books makes me fall asleep. And it talks about how like we're given examples of unconditional love. Like animals, they live totally in the present moment, and like it doesn't matter if I'm gone for an hour or a week. When you get home, the love that they show you, like that's what we're supposed to be doing too. And I was like, oh. So there's a little side note on love. But yes, we want to talk about
That's
love
true.
today.
I also have a little side story that reminded me of.
Yes.
Yesterday I was getting home from a couple meetings, and normally my
Yes.
dogs greet me at the door, but like I'm trying to get away from that because they get really excited and jump on me, and like it's not good when I
Yes.
have other people over.
So
So
how do
just that
you like how have you been training to get away from that?
I just get like either if it's me coming home or Ryan coming home, we just block the door and we make them sit like on the other side of the house,
Okay.
and then when I walk in, like just don't acknowledge them until they've calmed down. I don't pet them until they've sat, and then I make new people who come in not pay attention to them until they're sitting down.
Okay.
But anyways, different story. I was standing outside of my door and I could hear Dallas like really heavy breathing. She knew it was me and she was really excited. So I just started talking in like a really low voice, like, "Hello, Dallas,"
Oh my god.
to try and like confuse her. And I opened the door and she wasn't there. So I was like, "Oh no, did it work?" And then I look in my bedroom door and she is like cowering behind the couch, like afraid.
Oh
And then it
my
took her like
gosh.
10 seconds to realize it was me. And then of course she like jumped into my arms as she always does, but
So
it
she
was
would
really
she would not
funny.
be the one saving the house if a robber were breaking
No.
in. She's
Yeah,
like,
it made
nope, take it.
yeah, and Nico was just still sleeping on the bed, so
Really?
it,
Unfazed by the intern.
yeah, but it's weird because like if anyone else comes to the door, like he's right there, and if he doesn't know them, he's barking or whatever. But
He's like, who are you?
exactly, if you're trying to break into someone's house, I have two dogs,
Yeah.
but they're not
Yeah,
going to do
choose
anything.
Dakotas. Don't choose mine. Maisie and Whiskey, they're feisty. I don't think they do anything, but they definitely let you know that there's someone there.
And they have like not aggressive barks, but they have strong barks.
Strong, independent women. But
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
yes. Oh, I love that side note on love. Yes. Or side story on love. So today we want to talk about, I don't know, where do you want to start with love? Like, I think Valentine's Day is a cool thing to riff off of because everyone's got different feelings about it. Like for me, it's not just another day, but I made some paper hearts last weekend and painted them with Grant. But I don't I'm not like, oh my gosh, it's a big day. Like, but I will take heart shaped pizza.
Exactly right. And I feel like what you said about making things with Grant, like I feel like Valentine's Day is almost like a kid holiday, or
Yeah.
it's more exciting when most holidays are more exciting when you're a kid, which
Yes.
sucks.
If you
But
use your imagination, it can
exactly.
be
Yeah,
exciting.
I don't really do Valentine's Day like
No
order
way.
food, but it's like
It's
it's just
just
another
another
day.
day. There
Yeah.
it is. but you're also not like on the other end of the spectrum where you're like it's scam day and like you're not like a negative Nancy about it, but you're just not like a positive Penny. You're just neutral
And it also
Norman.
maybe just like it also just maybe like where I'm at in life too. And maybe like,
Yes.
you know, when we're older and even retired and have like nothing else going on, maybe it'll be bigger. But like right
Right.
now, like I am focused on, you know, work and other things. And maybe that's a fault
Yeah.
in me and my relationship. Maybe I should be focusing on things like Valentine's Day a little bit more. But right now, like it's just, you know,
Interesting. You live as though you have many Valentine's days ahead of you.
that's true. And in the state of this world, that might not be 100% true.
2021 could be our last one.
Yeah, you never know. What about
Not
you?
funny.
Do you guys do any Valentine's Day things?
um, in like when I was in college, Travis would come and we would go somewhere. Come to Hamilton. Let me finish that sentence. And we would go out, like try to go out somewhere. But no, I'm kind of just excited to. It's Sunday, right? That's actual Valentine's Day. We also have a birthday. Christine breaks a birthday is in this area.
Yeah, shout out Christine.
So no big plans. Like I'll probably just shower the dogs with some extra love, and then Grant comes home on family day. So maybe do like a heart shaped supper. I don't know. Challenge myself. I did cut his sandwich into a heart this morning, but it just looked more like an L, like just like a chunky. I don't know if I'm making. No, that looks like a heart. It looked like a chunky L, and I was gonna take a picture and be like, "When you try," but it's not quite working. So we'll see. He might just think that I was drunk when I made his lunch.
He probably will. I don't think he's going to be the one that's like, oh, a heart.
Yeah, he's like, oh my gosh, wow. He's gonna be like, what did she do this morning? She drove me
be...
to school.
Oh, yeah, he's back in school, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yeah. So that has been really nice this week. I feel like I could use just like some extra hours in the day for everything, but it's been really good. And it's good for him too. Like he was excited to be back at school. It's been great to be able to get some client work and some casework. So it's been good.
I love that. Another thing I want to talk about with love is kind of love versus blood as well.
Oh, yes. Yes.
That was loud and I liked it.
Sorry.
It scared me a little bit. Yeah, I'm so sorry if you're listening to this.
Yeah, sorry, I clapped at my mic.
Anyways, I think that we both kind of have interesting family dynamics.
Hell yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's interesting because I think growing up, society has really taught us that, you know, family members, you have to stick with them no matter what. Like,
yeah, that it's like how could you not talk to your sister? How could you not talk to your aunt? And it's like, but from experiencing growth personally and setting boundaries and really channeling who you want to invest your time with, you don't always choose blood, and that's okay.
right. We talk about like doing what's best for ourselves and yourself, and, you know, protecting your energy and protecting yourself really. And I think this goes along great with that because there are times when family members, you know, they don't have your best interests in mind. They drain you, and I think it's important, and I think we are kind of moving towards this in society, but I think it's important for us to, you know, kind of get away from that blood over love kind of thing. Blood over water, blood's thicker than water. What's the saying?
Yeah, blood runs thicker than water, I think is how it goes.
Yeah,
but
something like that.
I think it's very false because I think you can know an absolute stranger and know them for a year versus maybe your aunt and know them for your whole life, and that stranger could have better intentions for you, more support for you. And I'm just throwing your aunt out there, like not your aunt, but anyone's aunt. But I'm just using that person. But that stranger could be way more in your corner than any family member. And that's where I think if you have to choose between going to a family Christmas or going to a friend's Christmas, like just choose what feels best for you and don't have guilt for saying no to certain family events. Like you really have to prioritize what you're going to invest in people and what like how you leave that event. Do you leave that event feeling drained, or do you leave that event feeling like, oh, that was fun, that was good, there was a good exchange?
Right. And I also think it's important to note that we're not saying that all family members are the worst and,
No.
avoid family at all cost. But there are those relationships that,
Mhm.
might not be positive for you. And even like your parents, luckily, my parents are not like this, but there
Yeah.
are parents who are like, what, call your aunt, talk to your aunt, we're really sticking on aunts.
Yeah.
I
Let's just stick on ants. That
I
works.
have shout out to every single one of my aunts. I have great aunts, but well, for the most part, actually. Let me take that.
I wasn't gonna say it. It had to be you.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
the majority of the ants are awesome.
The aunts that I talk to,
Yeah.
shout out to you. Um, anyways, now I've lost my train of thought.
So parents saying you need to contact or call them and say hello, like almost asking you to maintain a relationship where they might not even have a relationship themselves, and or like
Right.
why
And especially like growing up and as, younger people, it really is not on us to keep those relationships or build those relationships,
no.
which I think, in the past people have kind of thought like that. But I've just kind of given up on family members who, if they don't put in the effort or if they put in very minimal effort, I'm okay with that. I'm
Yeah.
not going to lose sleep over it. I'm not going to
Mhm.
water running.
You can hear that, eh?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. That's
So I
that's
just, I,
my that's my Zen garden in the
I,
sump pump room.
I was just making sure it wasn't like a,
There's a pipe burst in the other room, and
yeah,
that's
not
love.
a
Thank you
furnace
for.
issue, but
Um,
anyways,
yes. So getting back to love, but with those like family members, and I think as we got older, we were able to say no more. Right? Like when you're young, you have to go wherever your parents go. But it's nice to be able to be like, no, like I don't want to go to that family event. Like you make that choice for yourself.
right. And I have, and I don't want to like make anyone feel bad or anything like this, but I have been, like pressured or like, kind of made to feel bad when I don't go to family events. And I do enjoy seeing my family and I do enjoy
Mm-hmm.
going to family events, but they're not the only people in my lives. And I think it's important for us as, a whole and as a society to kind of acknowledge that a little bit more and say, you know what?
Yes.
You are my family, but that doesn't mean you're my only priority.
Yes.
Especially when we get older and we start, getting into relationships and such. We now suddenly have a whole other family, quote unquote family, that we then
Yeah.
have to, make priority and see as well. And then you have your own family that you've created along the way,
Oh.
meaning your friends and stuff, and your podcast co-hosts and whatnot that you you also have to make a priority. So I just want to like say that even if I talk bad about some family and like I don't acknowledge some family, even if I don't show up to family events, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm
Yes.
anti that family or
But I think we need to normalize the no. And we need to accept no's being the host and or the family member that really wants you to be there. We need to accept no's, whether that be friends or family, like whatever the event is. If you say no and I really want you to be there, I might like check in and be like, hey, like is everything okay? But the last thing that you want, and it's not love, if someone makes you feel even worse for saying no. Like you want people that support your decisions. If you're saying no 30 times in a row and you're like in a rut, then maybe they're gonna dig a bit more. But if you're saying no and they're like, well, giving you some sort of guilt trip and we were really expecting you and really looking for like in tones that you know aren't loving, you don't need to stand for that.
right. And I love that point too, because I know even as of not like recently, but like a couple of years ago, I was 100% that person when someone, I was having an event or okay, you don't need
Yes.
to so
No, no,
enthusiastically.
no, no, but no, I'm like, but I, as being like that hostess, it comes from a place. It's sometimes it is we really want to see that person, but sometimes it was more fear that the event wouldn't be a success.
Oh my god, yes. And I
Yeah.
almost took it personally as well, which Looking back, I'm
Yes.
like,
Now you're
me
like, what was
myself.
wrong with me?
Yeah, it was more about my feelings and my,
Yeah.
my own self than it was, I was more worried about myself than I was about the person who said no.
But it wasn't healthy feelings. Like, it wasn't like I had so much love for myself that I was like, oh, I just want to make sure I'm okay. It was like, what if they're not there, and what if and what about, like, yeah, it was all fear based and all toxic based, and that's where any sort of backlash that came to you or that you gave to people for not showing up was coming from a toxic place. We didn't know better. Now we know better, so we do better.
Yes, and I love like looking back and seeing those small changes. Like that's
Yes.
something that I didn't even realize I had changed within myself until, we're talking about it right now.
That is so cool, and that's awesome. And I think that's like, if there's something going on, and say you're like, okay, Val, I can't come, like, I want that reach out to be met with like, hey, no worries. Like, you want to exchange the same love and energy that you would want in return on a day when you're like, I'm just not feeling people. Yes, it's
Right.
Thanksgiving, but I'm not feeling people.
Right. And it's okay to be like a little upset. And, like it sucks if your friend can't make it to your party, or it sucks if, someone can't come. But you saying like, what the heck? Why can't you come? And like getting mad and then, having those toxic feelings
Yes.
and expressing them it doesn't help you. It doesn't help that person.
No.
Because I know for me when I'm kind of, I'm not known to bail, but like, I do put, excuse me.
Wow.
Oh, I'm hitting puberty, guys.
Yeah. I'm proud of you.
I have been known to, how do I say this? Not
Make last minute choices that preserve yourself.
right. I have been known to say no. And it got to a point where I would start to feel bad about saying no. And then it would, affect me negatively. And then instead of saying, you know what, like, no, I can't come because I don't feel like coming, or I just don't have it in up here
You
to come
prolong the
today.
no.
I'd either say, "Oh yeah, maybe I
Yeah.
was never coming," or just like not replying, or saying
Yes.
the day after saying sorry, or coming up with an excuse like my grandfather's cat's cousin is sick.
Right. But like, yes, because of our raising or whatever it may be, we were kind of raised to be like people pleasers. So when there was something we didn't want to do, it was like a small spark, and then we just kept like, working. Like, say it was on a Saturday, you just like give a different answer, or you just prolong it, and by the weekend when you're going to put it out, it's a huge fire that you've contributed to because you've been in a negative space and anxious about it. When you should have just said no, and not felt the need to always have an excuse. No, I can't come is enough.
And listen, if you're not feeling it, or if you're just like,
Yeah.
too tired that day, and you say, "Hey guys, look, I really want to see you, but I just don't have it in me today." A lot of the time, there is at least one other person in that plan or that group that's feeling the
Yeah.
exact same way, and suddenly they're gonna pop up and be like, "Oh my god, retweet."
Right. But that is part of your, in my opinion, your intuition and your gut feeling that we're like, so often we just push it down and we go because it's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to hang out with our friends, or we're supposed to go see family members. But it's like, no, listen to that feeling and do what feels best.
And just be open about it and just talk about it, because I've
Yes.
even found if I have plans with like one other person and I wake up that day and I'm really not feeling it, and maybe they're also not feeling it, we kind of just ignore the plans until it's like 1 o'clock
Yeah.
when we're supposed to meet, and then I'm like, oh crap, I forgot, lol.
Hmm.
No, you didn't, you just didn't
Yeah.
want to go, so just say that, and then you can reschedule, or you
Yeah.
cannot reschedule. It's
Because it never is, I don't want to see those people. Well, with family members sometimes, but it's never that I don't want to see them, but it's more so that I need to see myself. But I think we're always so concerned that they're going to be offended, where it's like, no, no, because you would be offended if I showed up and I was in a crappy mood. So let's save ourselves some crappy energy exchanges, and you stay there, I'll stay here. I do want to see you, just not right now.
And I think it's also the same for leaving events or leaving plans, like
Mm-hmm.
early or like before anyone else. I know, whenever I'm somewhere and I just, my battery dies and I'm like,
Yes,
I
like the mind totally checks out, and I'll have that mid conversation where I'm just like, I'm out.
yeah, 100%. And I want to normalize, and I want to like talk about and get that out there that, that happens to most people. People's
Yeah.
social batteries 100% die out. And it's okay to be like, you know what, I'm ready to go. And
Yeah.
I know there are a lot of people at a lot of events that, you know, you're met with some negativity, like, oh, don't go, like, come on, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But I think if we all kind of talk about it and realize that, you know, it does happen, it'll
Yeah.
be a lot easier for us to, you know, get out of a
To
situation we don't want to be in.
right, and to just follow what we feel is best, because I think that's what we're not really on love today, but we're on like following what we feel is best, and I'm so okay with that because it applies to family members, it applies to clients, it applies to ourselves. Like there are certain clients that I haven't been to this point yet, but there's some that I work with, and I'm like, yeah, if you were to come to me as a new person, I would probably say we're just not aligned because their energy, like their mindsets, their beliefs, our values just don't align.
I think it also does have a lot to do with love too, because like it does happen with these people that, you know what, it's not a personal attack. You still love that person and you're still, you know, obsessed
Right.
with them, but you still need time away and you still need to protect yourself and put yourself first. Is there a little? Okay.
So how do you like say that you're going to an event or say you don't want to go and someone on the other side has guilt tripped you? What do you do for Dakota to show to be like it's okay? Like instead of being anxious or feeling bad that night, how do you lift that
I'm a
back up?
This is like not great advice, but I'm a big avoider, and I'll just like, and I shouldn't be, and I know it's
But you're
it's
aware.
I'm aware of it, and I try and work on it, and I know we talk a lot about like, you know, these positive things and how we should be doing things, but it's not just like, you know, you hear us say it or we know it and know that it's the proper thing to do and we just suddenly do it every time, because
Mhm.
that's not it. Like you change slowly and you just have to like it's a process and you have to work at it. So if I'm at if I'm hosting an event and someone's like, you know what, like I'm tired, I'm gonna go,
Yeah.
and I catch myself immediately thinking, well, that's me. That's rude. Like, why do they want to leave? Are
That's
they not having
rude.
fun? Am I the
Yeah.
worst host ever? I
Yes.
You have to make that, you know, effort and think in your head and like really teach yourself and condition yourself to be like,
Yeah.
if that was me and I was in that situation, how would I want to be met, or how would
Yeah.
I want the host to react? So as much as
It's
I want to say, sorry, I'm going on a little bit of a
no, no, no,
tangent.
no, no. No, it's so much of a mind game, right?
And I think like everything that we talk about and like, you know, having that healthy mindset is such a mind game, and it's such a battle almost with yourself.
Because it takes time to become used to the fact like we soaked up all these subconscious beliefs like before our brain even had a filter, and now we hold them. So to pry them from our like subconscious mind where we're like, no, that's rude to leave early. Like we saw it growing up, right? So to pry it and change it, it takes work. I think, but I don't think that work ever stops. But I think it's always worth it if you want to change the way that you live your life.
Right. And you're right. I don't think it ever stops. I think it definitely does get easier,
Hmm.
especially if you like are putting yourself first in every aspect of your
Yeah.
life and
I
not
would,
just
yeah. Like if you look back on us in high school, do you have less anxiety about saying no to an event now than you did? Oh yeah, yeah.
100%. But I think that also comes from our whole friend shroop.
I like that.
That's a new word. Our
That's
whole friend
nice.
group growing.
Yeah.
I think, you know, we've all become independent people and we've all become, you know, like
Yeah.
really cool, awesome adults. And, you know, we're not perfect. Uh, but I think that it's a lot easier for us to say no or to not show up or whatever it is,
Hmm.
because there's not that, you know, we know we're not going to be met with as much backlash.
Yes. Yes, and I think with friends and with family, with love, like there comes growing pains. So with some people you're going to grow together, and with some people you're going to grow apart. And no matter what, I think what's important is that we wish those people, even if we've grown apart, like even exes or whatever it may be, or family members, like you still wish them love. You're just not willing to sacrifice your own love or energy to spend time with them. It's like I don't wish like have ill wishes. I think that's a thing. Like I don't
I
want.
do.
Okay, well that's good. That's okay.
I just get it. Well, there are some people. I think that this is implies applies to a lot of people, but I definitely think there are people out there that just, you know, are never going to get it, and that's okay.
Yes.
And it's not your responsibility, it's not my responsibility to, kind of teach them, or,
Right. That's just it. But they don't go on bringing any more crap into your life. It's like, no, like you're good over there, I'm good over here. Thank you.
right. And they're just like, no, they're no longer on my radar. They're just, they're
Yeah.
not there. It doesn't necessarily mean I wish them the best life, but
But do you
I,
wish them like a bad life? Like,
no, no,
okay.
there's no one that I had such a bad falling out or had such a bad thing that I wish them a bad life. Like, that's just not it. I
Okay.
hope everyone has, a great, successful, positive life. But there are certainly some people that I would not mind seeing, you know, a bird poop on them or whatever it is. Like, just,
Okay. Yeah.
minor
Yeah.
things. But
Fair.
does
Like,
that make sense? Does that make me
yes.
sound bad?
No, no, you wouldn't mind seeing karma come around the block for a few people, but you're not
That,
going to bring karma itself.
right. And that being said, people can definitely change as well. Um,
Yes, that is true.
I'm I'm sure there are people from my past who, if I met now, be it exes, be it family members, or whatever it could be, it may be. I'm sure if I met them now, they'd be a completely different person.
Yeah, and that's I think something that we have to understand too, especially with social media, is we might see someone's growth or change, but just because you're not posting or changing, like there's other people that have changed beyond what we can comprehend. And I've found that when I've had like in-person conversations with friends from high school, and I'm like, whoa, you are like, it's really cool, but you wouldn't think that just from our technology that they had changed so much. So I think that is cool when you get to reconnect with some people, but there are some people that I don't ever want to reconnect with. So, and
Right.
that's okay, because that's just
And
my own self
exactly that
self-preservation.
that's what I was trying to say. I
Yeah.
don't want them in my life. I don't wish them anything.
Yes.
I just, they're gone, and that's where they're gonna stay.
Yeah. But they do teach you lessons too, which is good.
Right. Right. Do you think, are you, I know we'll get a little spiritual here because, we're talking about personal things and
Hit
love and
me
stuff.
up.
Yeah. Do you think that, everything is a lesson or has a purpose? Or do you think, there are people in your life that you just weren't meant to be with and they just kind of
Mm,
ruined?
I think everything has a lesson and a purpose, but I think if you're not ready for that lesson or purpose, it feels like an attack and or just like a ruining of a portion of your life. Like I look at a toxic relationship that I stayed in, but I stayed in it because I didn't have boundaries, nor did I have standards that I deserved or needed. And they weren't even that high, but I didn't have anything in place. Like I was an open field and the cattle were tromping on me. So now what I learned from that is that yes, that taught me to build myself a nice fence. But during it, I was like, I just have an awful boyfriend, and I don't like. I would say I don't deserve this, but then I'd still stay in it because I didn't know what I did deserve. So
Uh,
yes, to me,
yes.
everything has a purpose and everything has a lesson. But sometimes like I'll reflect back on events and such, and I get the lesson now. Like I don't know, like it's not like we broke up and the next day I was like, wow, I deserve the world. I'm a queen. I am amazing. Take care of you, self love, girl. No, it's still a process. But I do see where our relationship served me in holding up a mirror and being like, do you want to be a pasture?
I love that everything gets related back to farm talk on
I
this.
don't know where that came from, but that's how I
It's
saw it.
I love that. Also, going back to that, there are definitely people who teach us, what we deserve or what we don't
Yes.
deserve.
Yeah.
Like, those toxic relationships that a lot of people go through.
Yeah.
Um, but there are also people who teach us what we do deserve too.
Yes. Like I can remember after that toxic relationship ended, Mackenzie Riley grabbed me. We had been drinking, but she said, oh, what did she say? She looked me like dead in the eyes and she was like, you are the good in this world. And it was just like this beautiful moment. And I was like, I have it wrote down everywhere. Like, be the good, see the good, you are the good. Like, just, and those relationships that show you that love, you're like, okay, that's right. This is what you want in your circle.
Right. And do you think that, there's a focus, especially when we're younger, and I remember being in, high school, early university, even throughout university, college, there is such, did I just hear someone cough?
It was me.
Oh, I didn't see your like mic pop up. Do you think that society almost has people like young people pressured to get into relationships and like be in love? Because like
100%. Sorry to cut you off. Yes, because if you look at like generations before us, it was like married, kids, blah, blah, blah. You had the house by like 21, 22, and you were going to die alone if you were 25 and single. So there was all like, it's changed through generations. And, we've stepped out of the relationship mold and we've, kind of thrown to the side society's to-do list. But being young and being like single or alone, like it was never like encouraged. You were just told like there's lots of fish in the sea, and you kind of just got another boyfriend, or you were talking to someone else. Like it was never like, hey, do you guys like just take time for yourself and get to know yourself. All that is happening after. And I wish it happened then, but
it's a weird order that we're going through because
yes.
Like in high school and university, we're so focused on significant others or whatever it is.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I remember like seeing family I hadn't seen in a while. The very first question: do you have a girlfriend yet?
Yeah.
First of all, sorry, but
wishing it was me, but.
Anyways, like why though? Like why are we so focused on that? And I remember, I'm sure. Some of my relationships, especially early university, when I finally had that freedom to do whatever the hell I wanted, I'm sure that I rushed into those for absolutely no reason, just because I didn't want to. I thought like you had to.
You're like, oh my gosh, being alone, no way. I need to build my future now, today. Let's go. Who wants to build a future with me? Yes. Right. And I think it was also easier to sometimes to like focus on someone else's life, like trying to like not all of my boyfriends were little fixer-uppers, but you just focused on making them better. And I think that was easier than sometimes just focusing on you. But you weren't told that, like you were never told to put you first. And like now I say you do you, but then I didn't know you do you. It was you take care of everyone and get a job and figure out your future and like that's it.
Right. We're pressured into that mindset of being in a relationship or, like focusing on other people so young. And then when we're at this age, the early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, wherever you might fall into.
Wherever you are. Yeah.
Yeah. Early 30s, mid 30s. I'll just keep 40s, going.
50s, 70s.
Oh my gosh.
But like, yeah, truly.
Now we're focused on, well, at least I am. Maybe it's just, the point in my life that I am, but I'm more focused on myself and, self-improvement. And I wish that I had been so focused on that, at the end of high school and beginning of university.
Yes.
Because I think my life would be a little bit different right now if I had.
Mm-hmm. But you also probably experienced some lessons that you needed to learn.
100%. I definitely learned what I didn't want.
Yes. But there is so much good coming from like working with yourself to see and feel what makes you like feel your best. Like whether that's food, whether that's movement, people in your life, like just routines that you do, like how do you take care of yourself? Like it's really cool to see so many people working towards becoming a better version of themselves, vegans, and what I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just was not expecting it. I was so shocked.
Okay, that's something I'm trying to do, and I say trying, and there's a vegan out there listening that's like, you just do it.
It's me.
Right, because I don't think that we should, like the way that animals are treated to get us the products that we don't really need dairy, I don't think, from the research I've done. I say that because someone out there is probably like, this is why we do. Yeah, sip that iced coffee.
It's coconut milk.
Oh, there it is. I'm vegan. But that's me looking at the sustainability and the way that we treat animals, and I don't think it's right the way that we have developed this factory that we... Like animals have emotions. Like why are we treating them like they're car parts? So anyways, back to the story. I think it's amazing that we're starting to like learn how to love ourselves best.
Right. And I think it's important to get to know yourself as well, because, when you're starting a new relationship, or be it, a romantic or sexual or, I just want to throw that.
Yeah.
whatever kind of relationship it is, you're
Yeah.
focused on getting to know that person, like what's your favorite color,
Yes.
what's your favorite. I remember in high school when you first started talking to someone, you would play like 20 questions or whatever that is.
Yeah.
But like you never do that with yourself. Like ask yourself, what's your favorite color?
Oh, what is your favorite color?
I want to say like yellow,
Oh, love yellow.
right? It's just like a very bright color.
Yeah.
But like also like it's okay I sometimes just sit with my thoughts and try and what motivates me, what gets me going, what gets me up in the morning,
Yes.
and what do I want in this life. And it's okay to take time for yourself and get to know yourself, because
It's important to
you
get to know yourself.
you literally have to live with yourself for the rest of your life.
That was
And
like my Instagram bio up until like a year ago.
are you joking me?
No, I'm not. It was something about like get to know yourself first, your friends forever. It was like a little, I
I
don't
think
know,
my
something.
Instagram bio is like I'm a vegan or something like that.
Oh
So
my gosh, it probably is.
it
Okay,
probably is.
there it is. Um, yeah, no, I think that is so important, and I wish I could go to high schools around the world and talk about the importance of being with yourself and how that is cool. That is cool to figure out who you are and what you like and what and it'll change, and that's why it's so important to keep that relationship in touch with yourself.
Right. And it sounds so dumb and so life advice and life advicey and so like
Yeah,
cliche, but it really is the tea. Like it is the truth.
yeah. And
I
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go.
No, go. No, go.
Go. I can't now. I lost it. You go.
Yeah, me too. There is one thing I wanted to talk about going back to being a vegan. Hi, whiskey.
Oh, we have Maisie's nails. I need to cut them.
I remember because I am not vegan, but I am very meat conscious, and I only eat chicken and turkey. And everyone always asks me like, why do you just eat chicken and turkey? Like, why do you draw that line? And it's just like I've come to the conclusion with myself that that line. Most people draw that line. This is going to sound really morbid, between horses, dogs,
horses.
yeah, stuff like that, and but we eat pigs and cows, but people have pigs and cows as pets. My line is just a little bit over, and I'm constantly working towards moving my line over, and I want to eventually move it to the other side of chickens and turkeys, because I don't want to eat meat, but I'm just not there yet. But I will.
We can document our vegan journey.
Yes, we can.
Yay!
Okay, right now the only thing on the other side of my line is chicken and turkey, just because I haven't been able to find something that I can substitute yet. I also, live with someone, and making them move that line is hard. So,
but I also think if they want to make meat, they can make meat. Like I still will cook meat for our like family and stuff, but
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I don't mind when other people are eating meat near me. Wow, we're really off topic.
Yeah, okay, we need to wrap this up. So, love yourself, go vegan.
Yes, and I think that the main thing from this, and it's going to sound, and probably if you're young and listening to this, you're probably going to be like, what the heck? That's so dumb. But I think you'll realize it sooner rather than later. And I really encourage you to try, but really get to know yourself.
Yeah.
And, think about what you want in life, because we've said it before, I'll say it again. This is your only life.
Do the things that you want to do and be who you want to be. Like you're here, you're home. Get to know yourself.
And make yourself happy. Say no to going out with friends, but also say yes when you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen to yourself. It knows right. It knows the answers.
As always, follow us on TikTok and Instagram, the new net 2020. I still have not posted anything, but by the time that this is out, I vow to have posted a TikTok.
Ooh, it's a vow. I love it. All right, we're going to wrap up here soon. Stay fit, have fun, get to know yourself. I love you.
I love you guys too. Have a great week, and we will see you next week.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Bye, guys.